You're the best. Thank you.
There you go.
The camera guys are so happy now.
Well, of course, everybody's going to be wanting to know about your off season. Is your expectation and hope that you'll return to Edmonton?
Yes, I think I've made it pretty clear with you guys and with management that I'd like to come back. Obviously, with the season I had this year, I think it's fair to say that when a player is put in a position to be successful, you want more of that in your career, and doesn't mean if you go somewhere else that you're going to get the same opportunity. So obviously that has a lot of value to me. I've obviously moved around quite a bit in my career, and having some stability would be great. But with that being said, a lot is up in the air right now. There's obviously a few changes coming in the organization here, and just the one thing, I'm hopeful that I'm part of the solution. I want to be part of this group moving forward, and the rest right now is out of my control.
What do you think has to happen for this team to get better, good enough to make the playoffs next year?
I actually think we're not that far off. I think some people may say we're lacking in this and in that position, but and that's one of the reasons for me that obviously with what I tasted last year in Washington, winning's the best feeling in this league, and that's one of the reasons I want to come back, because last year I was part more of a supporting cast, if you'd like to say, and I want to be part of that core group here that gets it done. And but yeah, we're all, as silly as it sounds, we all have to do a better job to look at ourselves and how can we, as a group, help this organization get better. And sometimes that takes time, but when you have that long of a summer, players have to come in training camp and be hungry, and we can't wait for the last 6-7 weeks of the season to try to win games. This league is too competitive. We have to start training camp the right way. The games in October and November are just as important as February, because those are the points that give you a little bit of space to breathe. So I think it's collectively as a group, we have to do a better job.
How do you just sum up that last game? I mean, Leon gets his 50th, and then McDavid gets hurt, and that's how the season ends.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair to say it's been quite eventful around here this year, with coaching change and GM changes, and there's also been a lot of new faces in the locker room, from some of the guys going up and down in the minors and some of the trades we've done throughout the year. Yeah, what an achievement by Leon. It's hard to score in this league, and he did it 50 times. I was hoping he'd get 51 so he could tie Ovi, but that was just amazing. I mentioned this yesterday. I think just from a guy that's been on different teams, obviously when you watch in the past, I've watched the Oilers because you try to watch more of a Connor and just how good he is. And I think the one thing this year Leon has shown is how good of a player he is and how good he can be for this organization moving forward. And he doesn't have to play into Connor's shadow anymore. He's just that good of a player, and and then to see Connor hurt, yeah, that sucks. Seems like it's better news than what it may have looked like, and but want him to get healthy, and because he's the catalyst of this group. Even such a young age, I've never seen a guy carry the way he does outside the locker room and around the media and around the fans. He does such a great job, and then he carries all that to the ice. So
you played with Gio. People are saying it was a dangerous play, a reckless play by him. How do you see it?
Got to choose my words wisely here.
No,
You don't have to play him.
I think Gio is, he's a great person, one of the best captain I've ever had. He's competitive, and I firmly don't believe he was trying to do anything like that. But with that being said, he had him beat. I'll leave it at that.
Alex, you were talking about jumping around from team to team, and you've played with some pretty good duels in your time. Last year, Ovi and Backstrom. This year, Leon and Connor. Where do you think Leon and Connor rank in amongst duels in the National Hockey League?
I think they're going to be, in 10, 15 years, I'll be done by then for sure, but those two might be still kicking around. They'll be one of the best 1-2 punch in the National League for sure that's ever been around, if those two stay healthy and stay together. Just the way they read off each other and how they can create space. Had the opportunity to play with them for a little bit this season, and sometimes you get caught kind of mesmerized by what they do, and but it's great to see for this organization. They have a lot of solid base like that, and they're two young guys, or they're great kids in the locker room, and I think it starts there, because when you have good people, it makes good teams. And those two, along with Nuge, the guys that carry out our forward group, they're good people, and that's important.
Okay, so tough question then. Your best players were your best players this year, and then they had a guy like you that has a really good year. Cassian has a career year, and you still don't make the playoffs. How much onus is there on the management and the people that run this organization to outfit those good players with enough good teammates to win?
Well, that's a tough question. It's tough to win in this league. It's competitive, and I think at times, if you look at our season, we've lost games. I can think of 2 games against New Jersey at the end of the year and Ottawa, where they didn't have that many NHL players, regular NHL players on their team. So this league is competitive, but you look at the teams that are successful and have been successful in the past, you need depth. And it's tough to win with just a handful of players, because you can't rely on the same guys every night to get the job done. I'll use last year as an example. Our third and fourth line won us a lot of games in the playoffs, and that's what you need in this league, because it doesn't matter how good your top players are on the nights that games are close, or their top players might not be feeling 100%. You need those guys to carry some part of the load, and this team needs more of that.
Is it difficult for you having like a coaching change? How was Hitch different, say, than Todd was?
Well, I didn't really have much of a relationship with Todd. obviously come in on the PTO, and I forget the date. It was early December. He got fired. But Todd gave me an opportunity this year, which I was grateful for, and I think Hitch, he's a guy that's been around the league for a long time. He's demanding of players. I've had my battles with him throughout the year, but he's also made me a much better player because he's pushed me to be better. He's pushed me to be more consistent every night, and he's pushed me to be a better guy or more of a leader in the locker room, and for that, I appreciate that. But I think also in the NHL, more so now, the league is so young, and a lot of the young guys are coming in fairly younger than what it may have been 5 or 6 years ago, and I think it's important to also have a person that can't relate to the players, and I don't think every player is worked the same way, and you got to get to know your players, and I think that's one thing that's important for this organization moving forward, is because there's a lot of young guys, and it's important to have a coach that can relate to the players, and it's different than what it may have been 10, 15 years ago.
So can Hitch do that?
I think so, but that's all in my control. That's going to be the new GM to take that decision, and I'm assuming some of the veteran group here, or leadership group, also have a lot to say with that.
What does it say about Connor driving to the net like that in this game? I mean, nobody's going to pull the reins off him, but what do you think about the way he continued to push in that game?
Yeah, that's just how he plays, and that's what's amazing about Connor is, the quality of a player he is, but also just the way he plays the game. And I think, game 82, he could have just, shut it down last night, and no one would have said anything really. And he still, I think he wants to prove that he's really the best. He may not admit it, but that's what I see in him, and you have to appreciate that in a player. And in my opinion, there's no one near him in the league. So hopefully he's all good.
You talked about the personnel changes. There were so many on and off the ice. What was it like for you to handle that just personally?
Well, I think for me it wasn't too bad because I've changed his organization quite a bit in the last few years, and I think I counted, I've had 9 or 10 coaches in my career already, so probably a lot easier for me to deal than some of the other players, but it's not easy when someone else comes in, and it's a different voice, just a way. Also system changes, and you try to do that through the season and all the travel, and that's not what you're looking for in a team during a season, because it just creates challenges, and I don't think it's a healthy environment, but we're playing a pro sport, and in this business, if you don't win, you don't get result. Changes happen, so that's how it goes.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you.